Fernandina Beach is a small town on Amelia Island in the northeast corner of Florida on the Atlantic Ocean. The state legislature of Florida has mandated that by 2020, all Florida counties should reduce the waste going to landfills by 75%. Fernandina Beach is working to meet that goal through its recycling program.
Hi, I'm Kelly Gibson. I work with the City of Fernandina Beach in the Planning Department as a senior planner. The city offers recycling services to over 6,000 households. Most people don't really understand the true cost behind their waste, and really it's because you don't see where it is and where it goes every day. No.
No. No.
About 65% of trash that today goes to a landfill could be recycled.
Recycling makes sense. It's good for the environment and it's good for an overall cost reduction in providing the services. It's simple economics. As more people participate, the cost goes down.
In order to make recycling more cost effective for the city and to achieve the state's goal of a 75% increase in its recycling amounts by 2020, we need everyone to participate.
Recycling creates a closed-loop system where discarded products are sent back to manufacturers to create new products.
In an ideal world, we wouldn't throw anything away. We would reuse or recycle it. However, in the world we live in today, what we don't reuse or recycle gets sent to a landfill.
Aren't our landfills filling up?
Americans are producing more waste with each passing year, and getting rid of trash isn't a free proposition. Garbage trucks must pay to dump their waste at a landfill. The payment is called a tipping fee, and it is based on the weight or volume of the garbage. Solid waste disposal costs continue to rise. Nassau County sends its solid waste to Georgia.
If we don't recycle, we're going to be a landfill from shore to shore if we continue to do it like we've been doing it.
I was in Michigan this week. I went to the biggest hazardous waste landfill in the country. And it's like huge.
Really?
Yeah, enormous. Biggest dump I ever saw in my life.
Really?
Yep.
Like acres and acres and acres. Wow.
Like the size of a small town.
Business as usual is what's expensive because
Landfills are expensive to design, to build, and to maintain, so it's important to think before you throw. By choosing to recycle,
Our community can extend the life of products.
and keep them from going into the landfill. And
In today's world, sustainable resource management through recycling is no longer a personal decision. We must incorporate sustainability into everyday personal and business practices for the future of our economy, our health, and the environment which supports us.
there's a huge waste of resources that happens when we just toss reusable items into the trash.
Americans use 4 million plastic bottles every hour, yet only 1 out of 5 get recycled.
Plastic bottles are one of the recyclable items that we really don't want people to put into landfills. Plastic lasts forever. It'll last a lifetime in a landfill and just take up space there.
Mining bauxite, the raw material used to make aluminum, is a very dirty industry. For every ton of alumina produced, 3 tons of toxic waste products are created. Recycling aluminum cans instead of extracting ore to make new cans produces 95% less air pollution and 97% less water pollution.
There's no limit to how many times an aluminum can be recycled.
Soda cans can be flattened so they will take up less room in your bin. Get your kids involved. They'll love smashing cans.
There's a strong demand for recycled glass. Unfortunately, that demand is not being met.
Yet every month, Americans throw out enough glass bottles to fill up a giant skyscraper. Glass is the quickest turnaround of any recyclable product. It can be back on the shelf in 30 days.
And recycling glass can be repeated an infinite number of times, and the quality of the glass never deteriorates.
We need all residents to help Fernandina Beach keep glass jars and bottles from being sent to the landfill where they cannot be reclaimed.
The 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle.
Reduce is the first R because reducing consumption is the most effective step towards producing less waste.
Recycling isn't only separating cans and bottles, newspapers, and paper from the trash stream. It also means using things a second or third time. That nice padded envelope you got in the mail, for example? Instead of throwing it away, scratch out the address, tear off the stamps, and use it again. Resale shops are the perfect place to take clothes and household items you no longer use. And they are good places to buy that new piece of clothing you need.
Shopping in a secondhand clothing store definitely reduces your footprint on the environment, which is such a huge added benefit. My husband, when we first met, he used to shop always retail, and when he found a shirt or a pair of pants that he liked, he would buy it in threes, and he'd buy 3 of this and 3 of that, so he didn't have to keep going shopping and pay full price. And the first time I got him to go into a thrift store, and he found a pair of jeans that were perfectly in perfect shape for $5, he was hooked, and I could not get him out of thrift stores wherever we passed by one. So I found a few goodies on this trip. Found this sweater, which is by Brooks Brothers, and it's half price today. So I'm going to pay $1.75 for a Brooks Brothers sweater. It doesn't make sense to keep using up resources just because we think in our minds we have to have something new.
If we consume less, we automatically produce less waste.
Even in today's climate of consumerism, there are simple ways to reduce the waste we generate. So look for low-impact alternatives. Last year, Americans went through more than 50 billion plastic water bottles. Bottled water is expensive, and much of the bottled water sold today is filtered tap water. Having a reusable water bottle, filling it at home, and carrying it with you is a good way to start greening your lifestyle.
Refilling your soap container is just one of the many ways you can reduce the amount of trash you send to the landfill each year.
Purchase food items from the bulk bins whenever possible so there's no excess packaging that will get tossed in the trash. Bring your totes with you. The average American uses 350 plastic bags a year. By taking reusable bags to the store, you can reduce the needless deaths of marine life caused by plastic bags that end up in streams, rivers, and the ocean.
It is currently estimated that we are consuming at a rate of 123%, or in other words, using 23% more resources than the Earth can sustain.
This means we are jeopardizing the ability of future generations to meet their needs. How can we stop being such an unsustainable society? Small awarenesses add up.
For city residents, it is possible to use curbside recycling for the following materials: newspaper, brown paper bags, glass, aluminum cans, number 1 and 2 plastic, corrugated cardboard flattened into 2 by 3 squares, and yard debris.
The city also picks up yard debris, like leaves, grass cuttings, palm fronds, for city residents on a weekly basis. Tree branches must be less than 4 feet long and 6 inches in diameter to be picked up.
The confusion over what plastics we can and cannot recycle continues to confound many people. But recycling plastics isn't difficult. The City of Fernandina provides pickup for number 1 and number 2 plastics. Look for the number on or near the bottom of the plastic container. Rinse if needed and remove the lids. Dozens of products in your household are packaged in number 1 containers, which are polyethylene terephthalate, or PET. Once it has been processed by a recycling facility, PET plastics can become fiberfill for winter coats, sleeping bags, and life jackets. PET is also used to make rope, car bumpers, tennis ball felt, combs, sails for boats, furniture, and of course other plastic containers. Number 2 plastic is a high-density polyethylene. These include heavier containers that hold laundry detergents and bleaches, as well as milk, shampoo, and oil.
There are various recycling locations on Amelia Island, including a central drop-off point, operated by the city on Lime Street and South 6th Street Extension. This city collection area takes the following items: aluminum cans, glass, number 1 and 2 plastics, newspaper, magazines, office paper, junk mail, phone books, and cardboard.
You might think of this as cardboard, but it's really called pasteboard. Currently, we can't recycle this.
Contamination of recyclable items is a big issue. Please do not put any plastic bags or garbage in the recycling bins. Putting them in the bin will contaminate the load.
The collection point near the airport on Bailey Road by Ybor Alvarez Park has separate bins for clear, green, and amber brown glass.
The county collection point also takes aluminum cans and all types of paper. However, they don't take phone books or cardboard.
Other drop-off locations are available for a variety of recyclable materials. Some schools in the county collect paper. The Lions Club collects used eyeglasses at Barnabas on 8th Street. Packing peanuts can be recycled and taken to the UPS store in a public shopping center or to pack and mail on 14th Street.
At Publix, they recycle number 6 plastics or polystyrene. This includes egg cartons and styrofoam meat trays, which must be rinsed thoroughly. Luckily, most local groceries have bins where you can recycle the plastic bags you do use.
Staples takes printers, fax machines, toners, ink cartridges, and computers.
Car batteries can also be recycled by taking them back to auto parts stores. Auto parts stores also accept used motor oil and petroleum-based auto fluids throughout the year.
My name is Nick. I own North Nassau Recycling, located on the corner of 8th and Lime Street behind the old ice house in Fernandina Beach, Florida. This pile is an accurate representation of what we take and what we call steel. Any appliances, bicycles, even an old motorcycle, lawnmowers, you name it, if it's in this pile, it's something we take. Hot water heaters, dishwashers, refrigerators, washers and dryers, stoves, just about anything magnetic. There's a few exceptions: no fuel tanks of any kind, and no fence material, and no bed springs. That's not much. The rest of it, if it's metal, bring it here. It is recyclable.
Obsolete electronic waste is classified as hazardous household waste and needs to be kept out of the landfill. If not, they release toxic materials such as lead, mercury, and cadmium into the soil and groundwater.
Used fluorescent bulbs contain mercury and need proper disposal. Both CFLs and tubes are returnable to either Home Depot or Lowe's, or saved for the city's Hazardous Waste Collection Day.
Items you may be currently throwing away can contaminate the soil and water for thousands of years. Our community has a special disposal procedure for used oil, batteries, and other hazardous materials.
Each year, the city operates a recycling and hazardous waste collection day so that residents can safely discard their toxic materials. The city encourages residents to store all toxic items so they can be disposed of safely. You can dispose of the following items: motor oil, oil filters, and other automotive fluids, paint, paint thinners, corrosive and hazardous chemicals, aerosol cans, household cleaners, over-the-counter medicines, pesticides, and fertilizers. Scrap metal, propane tanks, electronics and appliances, automotive and household batteries, and fluorescent bulbs.
Besides the City Hazardous Collection Day, Nassau County also holds a Hazardous Waste Recycle Day for all county residents.
Nassau County Sierra Club organizes electronic recycle days twice a year. These provide residents additional opportunities to recycle electronic waste. Watch the newspaper for exact times and days.
The average American creates 8.3 pounds of garbage a day. I decided to see how much of this is recyclable.
That is not environmentally sustainable.
We're living in this environment now, and a lot of people aren't recycling, but we've got to prepare for the future. And so we need to start the program now and get it going for those that are going to follow after us. But it's got to start in our households.
We're encouraging people to recycle all they can to reduce the volume that goes into the landfill.
Your participation will also help to ensure that the recycling program continues to expand, adding even more streamlined collection practices. Remember, municipal solid waste contains a goldmine of materials that can be recycled.
The state of Florida's new statewide recycling goal of 75% by the year 2020 is a challenge we can achieve in Fernandina if residents begin now to change their habits and participate fully in the city's recycling services.
We do plenty of things to ruin our earth as it is. Let's not do it no more.
I recycle.
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 I recycle. I recycle.
I recycle.
I recycle. Definitely.
I recycle.
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 I recycle. We all recycle. Recycling's great.